Hello guys, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So we're here now to report about the formulating or designing a good research question. Might have no relevant answers, but those answers could serve a basis for another research questions or papers.
There are several ways in formulating a good research question, and this illustration shows exactly how to create a research question. Of course, there are possible topics around the world, or if you want to study here in the Philippines, there are possible topics. But you have to narrow down that topic in order for you to have a focus. Okay, for example, you are studying about social media. Social media is very broad topic. So how to narrow it down? So you choose Twitter. And after preliminary readings, you have to study or you have to read, use primary and secondary sources about the topic. Then after that, your topic will be narrowed to make it a research question. So this will be the research question. What effect does daily use of Twitter have on the attention span of people in the age group of 16 to 20?
Long research questions. So based on the television or the screen, we have the focus, researchable, visible, specific, complex, and relevant. A research question must be. What makes a strong research question? So first, we need to focus. Your central research question should follow from your research problem to keep your work focused. If you have multiple questions, they should all clearly relate to this central aim. First, we have a broad topic, women's health. Narrow topic, women and cancer. Focus topic, women smokers and breast cancer. Research question, is cigarette smoking associated with breast cancer risk? Next, for the computer games, we have the broad topic for the computer games. Narrow topic, computer game violence. Focus topic, computer game violence and children. So research question, how does violence in computer games affect children? So as we can see in the monitor, the broad topic is mostly the main topic for the research. But through narrowing it up to another topic or narrowed topic, so we come up for women and cancer for the men's health. So men's health, broad masyado. So maraming mga problema para sa mga babae. But as a researcher, we must narrow it up to women and cancer. So mostly, ano ba yung nakukos ng cancer? Ano ba yung mga cancer na karamihan na encounter ng mga babae? So that's why nakakam up tayo ng focus topic. So in the focus topic, women smokers and breast cancer. So related ba ang breast cancer sa mga babae at pagiging smoker nito? So the research question, we come up on this research question, is cigarette smoking associated with breast cancer risk? For next, the computer games. Computer games, broad masyado, napakalawak ng computer games. Narrowed topic, pwede tayong come up to computer games against violence sa children sa panahon natin ngayon. So, violence, madami pa rin yan. Computer games, marami pa rin yan. So, focus topic, computer games, violence, and children. So, we must come up a question kung gaano o ano ang epekto ng computer games sa violence sa mga kabataan. So, in the research question, we must ask question like this. How does violence in computer games affect children?
Our research question must be researchable. It is answerable using primary or secondary sources. Does not ask for a subjective value judgment. Okay, if you can easily answer the question, so that is not a good research question. But if your question needs primary sources and secondary sources using textbooks, interviews, and etc., therefore, that is a good research question. For example, is X or Y a better policy? You can easily answer that yes or no. So that is not a good research question. And better is not used in making a research question because this is a subjective word. Avoid using better, good, best, because there are no criteria in answering that question. Okay, a research question does not ask why. Why? Example, why does X occur? What are the main factors contributing X? How X influenced by Y? In the first question, this is not a good research question since it uses Y. Y is too open. Parang masyadong malawak siya. No? If you are asking a respondent, it's very hard to identify the answer because they have a lot of answers. So, not a good research question. Okay.
A strong research question must be feasible, answerable within the practical constraints. Make sure you have enough time and resources to do a research required to answer the question. If you think you might struggle to gain access to enough data, consider narrowing down the question to be more specific. So, feasible. When we say feasible, kaya. So, madali lang. If you have questions na masasabi nating madali lang ang magsagot or yung sasagot is hindi mahihirapan. But if you have a lot of data na available, so maraming data na available, so you can narrow it down. So kapag nakuha mo na rin yung gusto mong data para sa questions or mga answers sa mga tanong natin, so masasabi natin it is a feasible.
A research question must be specific. Use specific, well-defined concepts. Avoid vague language and broad ideas. For example, what effect does social media have on people's minds? So this is not specific, simply because social media is a very broad topic. Whereas, the question number 2, what effect does daily use of Twitter have on the attention span of under 16? So, it is very specific that instead of using social media, we use here use of Twitter. And very specific also kasi ang respondents na gagamitin ay mga taong under 16 years old.
Okay, now let's go to another one, number 5, which is complex and arguable. Sorry. Okay, so complex means not complicated question. So it cannot be answered only with yes or no. But you should dig down your question to like for example, how many ways, or in what way, or how do you, like that. So, like for example here, the first one is, has there been an increase in homelessness in the UK in the past 10 years? So, what do you think of the question? It is just answerable by yes or no. Very simple. So that is not a good question when you do research or thesis. So we can revise it. We can make it a good question in a way like this. How have economic and political factors affected patterns of homelessness in the UK over the past 10 years? So it needs to dig deeper on what is really what's the term kanang unsay pasabot, unsay tumong ana niya, or unsay gusto niyang ipaabot. That's it.
Another research question that can make your question strong is the relevant and original. So, yung sa relevant na papanahon. So, ano ba yung napapanahon? Ano ba yung mga problema natin ngayon? So, problems nowadays might be a good research topic. So, addresses a problem relevant to your field or discipline. So, in our field of education or as a teacher, focus tayo sa students. Problem of the students about teachers. So, contributes to topical, social, or academic debate. So, dapat napapanahon, dapat related sa akademya, about education, and mga pangyayari na makabuluhan sa panahong ito. Next, has not already been answered. So why research if you already had the data? So dapat, wala pang nakagawa ng research. Hindi pa dapat ito na-research sa ibang tao. So, it must be relevant and original. Dapat totoong sa iyo. Dapat kayong gumawa. Dapat through field testing talaga ang research na gagawin ninyo. So, hello guys. We have here some questions. Let's find out if those questions or which of the questions are good questions for our research. So, we have here letter A, why is there a housing crisis in the Netherlands? B, what impact have university internationalization policies had on the availability and affordability of housing in the Netherlands? So, what is your answer? The answer is letter B. Why? So, we just discussed earlier that we should not use why in our question. When we say why, so sometimes we have data available to answer the question.
Okay, which of this is a good research question? Letter A. Does the US or the UK have a better healthcare system? Letter B. How do the US and the UK compare in health outcomes and patient satisfaction among low-income people with chronic illnesses? So what would be your answer? Ta-da-da-dang! The answer is letter B. It was discussed a while ago that a research question is not answerable by yes or
no.
And do not use subjective word like
Better, best,
good, best, worst, and
Okay.
etc. Which of this is a good research question? Letter A. Are white mice better than gray mice? B. When tested for intelligence and longevity. Saan siya?
Longevity.
Longevity.
Yes, it's a longevity.
Start.
Okay, well, as we discussed earlier, we should not use why because why or questions that starts in why, in the word why, is very broad. So, napakalawak. So, we must be specific in our question.
Which of this is a good research question? A. Are white mice better than gray mice? B. When tested for intelligence and longevity, how do white mice and gray mice compare? So what is the answer? Ta-da-da-dang!
Letter B!
B. Correct.
Why?
Why? Are white mice better than gray mice?
Go.
And answerable by
Yes or no. And also, we use better word.
Yes.
Okay.
Do not use better word. When tested for intelligence, that is a primary source. And that's it. Letter
Okay.
B is the correct answer. Which of this is a good research question? First, which effective education strategies prevent drug abuse in teens? B. Are illicit drugs bad for kids? What is the answer?
Letter A!
Letter A. So we already know that illicit drugs are not good for children. So why do study?
Yes. And also, letter B is answerable
By
by yes or no.
This is a good research question. Letter A. Why do some corporations pollute the water if they aren't regulated? B. How do government regulations prevent corporations from polluting the water? What is the answer?
Letter B!
Letter B, correct. Why letter B?
Because in the first question, we use the why.
Yes.
So, as we discussed earlier, that we should not use why.
Another point, if you are doing interviews, why is very
Broad.
good.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
in interviews,
Yeah.
but in a research question or research, this research question does not use why.
Okay.
So instead, use
How? Hello. So, next questions for the letter A, which national park is the best? B, what features do the most popular national parks have in common? So what is your answer?
Letter B!
B. Why? Why letter B?
Letter B, because letter A uses best, and that is very subjective and easy to answer
Okay.
by doing simple research.
Wala siguro eh.
Gani. Muna visible, sir. Ano siya visible? Example sa visible. Asa to?
Baba.
Yan. Last ka to. Kung ano to? Last na. Hindi. Ay, sa to. The higher power in the universe. So, di siya visible kay... Di man na to ma-access ang tibuok, no? Sige, ikaw rin. Answer na.
Okay.
Wala.
Wala.
Wala mo din nakat. Kaya napadayon siya ganina.
Yeah,
Is this a good research question? Letter A. What are the advantages and disadvantages of cell phone use in schools? B. How does restricting cell phone use in school affect students' social interaction? What is the answer?
letter B.
Okay, letter B. Because it was discussed a while ago that a research question is complex, right?
Yeah.
What are the advantages? It is easy to answer using Google, no? Kung mag-Google ka, so the Google will give you different advantages and disadvantages of using cell phone.
Okay.
So letter B is the answer. How'd kick in?
Okay, next questions. Letter A. Is there a higher power in the universe? Letter B. What factors affect people's belief in a higher power? So what is your answer?
Letter
Letter?
B.
Letter?
B.
Why? Why letter B?
A is answerable by yes or no, and that is not feasible. You cannot access all of the data using universe.
Yes. It's true that we cannot go beyond universe or beyond Earth. And mostly those people are only are allowed to go there are scientists or astronauts, and we cannot access data easily above Earth.
Not accessible. Thank you.
Guys, so that was our report, and I hope that you've learned something about our topic this afternoon. Thank you. Thank you so
sir.
much. Hello, sir. Plot 1.